Hey guys, I got a few people asking me how I modded my T8.1 in my other video to hold the follower down. Basically, when the spring is pushing up on it, it kind of holds it into place here like that. Watch the other video if you don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, what you're going to need is some files, a little pen, marker, something like that to mark the follower, and a rotary tool. The bits that I use mainly are the cutter one and then this other one. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a really thin, really small one that has like it's like an edge to it, so keeps it kind of sharp. And of course, wear goggles and mask because you're working with metal, so that stuff could definitely get in your eyes, and yeah, it's not fun. So alright, so first thing we're going to do, this is the one I modded already. This is a non-modded follower. So we're going to lock it down. And you see how here the follower kind of sticks out a little bit, like against, this is like the metal, and it sticks out just a little bit. So what I do is I take, I'm taking, it's black on black, but I could still pretty much see it. But I'm going to mark like a little line where the follower meets the metal there. It's gonna act as like a guide, so I know where to cut here. Okay. All right. I'm assuming you, if you're modding your magazines, you already know how to take apart your mags and you know them all well. So go ahead and take it apart. And all right, so what we're gonna do, all right, on the modded one, I have a little slot there, if you can see. And there's a slot in the middle, so I'm gonna carve a slot into it. And what we're gonna do is there's a slot that goes right down the middle, and then this part on the metal right down here, I thin it out, and then I have a little slot going up. So essentially the follower is like this, and then the metal gets really thin where it'll slide in there, so that'll keep it from moving like that. So I got my guide here, that line of where it meets the metal, so I'm gonna go ahead and carve into that. Just do like a little, make like a little slot. I got my rotary tool with a little flex shaft, make things a little more precise here for me. Alright, now I'm working on the lowest setting just so I get the most precision I can. And this is a pretty soft, it's a pretty soft plastic, so it should work well. And if you want to, go ahead and file it with a file as well. Basically, you want a hard edge on this side and a hard edge on this side too, so it holds it in the metal. It doesn't have to be too deep or too wide, just enough to catch some of the metal of the magazine and hold it there. Alright, there we go. Looks pretty good. Let's see if you can see that. Alright, next thing we're going to do is mod the shell. So I switched out the Dremel bit for the cutter. Also, I flipped it around so the business end is on this side of it. So now, like I said, I'm going to put a little slot in here on the right side over here, and then I'm going to thin out the metal that's remaining so that the metal, like I said, can slide into the slot we just created. All right, so first thing I like to do is before the slot, I like to go ahead and thin out this side, which is going to be the left side of it looking this way. That way I can use the follower as a reference. I can show you here. So I'm just going to go ahead and slowly start to thin out a little bit at a time. I usually start with the Dremel to the rotary tool to start things off, do the heavy work, and then go in with the file to like finish it off a little bit. But basically just filing it down this way like this. And again, it doesn't have to be too deep because that slot we made is not deep at all. It's just real thin. See, you can barely see, but it kind of goes in a little bit. It's not completely straight anymore. So you can kind of reference like when the spring's pushing it up, that's the start of the slot right there. Let me get into the camera. See, when the spring pushes it up, it's gonna be this end of the slot, which is almost there right now, actually. Maybe just a little bit more to go. So what I'm gonna do, if you see, this is the one I modded. If you look really closely, there's a little part, I can point to it, a little part right here. It's not just straight across anymore. It goes up a little bit. I put a little slot right there. It's very tiny. See, if I try and move it around, it won't move. It's very tiny, but it's there. So that's what's gonna hold the follower into place. So I'm going to take mine. I like this file. It's like a really thin rectangle. And again, you can go really careful, just slow, because you don't want to mess this up. All right. Okay, and once it's deep enough, right about there, doesn't have to be too deep, as you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and start just making sure it's got sharp edges. This is like a triangle file, so I take one of the points of the triangles and just hit the edges to make it real sharp. And make sure it's like a box and not like a circle. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is get this part in here, get it filed this way. I've got to get that thing thinner and thinner, so I've got to file it going that way. So now I flipped the disc on my rotary tool again, so now business end's going out, so I can come on the inside of it and push it out that way. Grab this one. And so now that I've got the slot here on this side, I've got this one coming thinner on this side. Now all I've got to do is get this side thinner and thinner until I can literally put it in and get it to fit inside the slot. At this point, I'm filing down and I'm filing to the left. All right. See, and make sure it fits. Just gonna let that focus for a bit. See? Now I try and pull it out with my thumb and it's not coming out. Just double check. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. You just test it out with the spring. Normally you're gonna go ahead and put the screws in, completely close it. Just for video purposes, I'm just gonna hold it down. Follower's there, and it's locked. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna hit it, try and push it with my thumb. As long as it's not going out this way, that's fine. And when you insert it into the mag, there's a notch that's gonna go down and hit this, hit the follower down. So as long as it goes down, it's gonna push it down and to the side, and it's gonna release it. And there you go. That's how you mod your T8.1 magazines.